Welcome back to Spring into Math 6. This is Mr. Stein with you again, and today we're going to talk about percentages using ratios. Okay, so in the last lesson we used the formula x equals percent as a decimal times the total value to solve a percentage problem. All right, so in this lesson we're going to solve percent problems using ratios. All right, so let's take a closer look. In late September, 18% of trees on the school property had their leaves changed from green to brown. Okay, so hold those numbers, we have 18%. The school property has 72 trees. How many trees on the school property have leaves that are brown? All right, so we're going to use the ratio and proportion method to solve this. Okay, so let's go through an explanation to kind of give us a better idea of how this is going to work. All right, so we're told to use the ratio proportion method. Now, to use this method, we convert the percentage to a fraction and then place our integer under an unknown variable, which we're going to use x. All right, so we have to we're really thinking about what is 18% of 72. So we're going to convert the percentage to a fraction. Okay, so we have 18%. We're just going to make it simple. We're always going to put it over 100. So we have 18% is just going to be 18 over 100. So then we're going to create a ratio proportion with an unknown variable, so an unknown value. So we're going to have 18 over 100. We're going to set it equal, and you can see here, to x over 72. And we're going to put it over the number the total that we're given. So now we have 18 hundredths is equal to x over 72. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use the cross products. We're going to multiply across. So we're going to multiply basically the 100 times the x and the 72 times the 18. All right, so when we do that, we have 100 times x is 100x, and 72 times 18 comes out to 1,296. All right, now, once we have that, we're basically going to isolate our variable. So since it's 100x is really a multiplication problem, we're going to divide it out of both sides. So we're going to divide 100 out of 100x, so it just leaves us x by itself, and then we have 1,296 divided by 100, so anytime you're dividing by 100, just like when you're multiplying by 100, you're basically just moving the decimal point. So since we're dividing, we're basically moving that decimal point from the right side of the 6, and we're just moving it over 2 spots, giving us 12.96, and if we're going to round that, because you don't really, we're talking about trees, you can't do 12.96 of them have brown leaves, you're going to round it to 13, so 13 have brown leaves. All right, so let's do some more. Now we're going to look at what is 22% of 936. Okay, so first we're going to convert the percentage to a fraction. So we have 22% is equal to 22 over 100. Remember, we talked about putting them over 100, and that's where the last lesson really plays in when we talked about looking at fractions as percents. Now we're just going the other way. We're taking our percent and putting it back in a fraction form. All right, so now we're going to create a ratio or proportion. So we have 22 over 100, and we're going to set that equal to x over our total, which was 936. So we have 22 over 100, 22 hundredths is equal to x over 936. Again, now we're going to use cross products. So we have 100 times x is 100x, and that's going to be equal to 22 times 936, which gives us 20,592. And now we're just dividing out 100. So we're going to isolate our variable. We're going to take 100 out of the 100x, giving us just an x, and we're going to divide out 100 out of 20,592, which is just moving our decimal point over 2 spaces. So it just gives us 205 and 92 hundredths, and if you're rounding that again, we're just getting 206. So our final answer is 206. All right, let's try another one. What is 80% of 60? So now we're dealing with some smaller numbers. All right, so again, we're going to convert our percentage to a fraction, so we have 80%. So hopefully by now we're getting used to it. We know that 80% is just 80 over 100. And now we could reduce it, but it's not necessary all the time. So in this instance, we'll just leave it because we've been kind of using the number over 100, so let's just keep it consistent. So then we have 80 over 100 equals x over our total, which was 60. Now we just do our cross products like we've been doing. So we have 100 times x is 100x, and 80 times 60 is 4,800. And then if we divide out 100, 100x divided by 100 is just x, and 4,800 divided by 100, just basically moving that decimal point over 2 spots to give us 48. All right, so that's going to wrap up this lesson. See you next time.